How's everybody doing? I'm Sermon. Welcome to this speed paint of these two portraits slash sketches I did in my sketchbook. I just want to apologize in advance for any ambient noise you might be hearing. This is my first time recording for YouTube, so I'm still kind of figuring things out with my new camera, and the lighting does get better as soon as I switch to the coloring portion of this video. I actually had no intention of recording this at all, which is why I don't have any footage of the first face that I sketched, but thought might as well record the rest of the process and then upload that. And yeah, I basically just found this girl while scrolling through Pinterest, thought she was absolutely gorgeous, and decided to draw her. If I remember her name and I can find it, I will definitely put it on screen for you guys right here along with the reference photos. Check her out. Her modeling looks great, and she has such gorgeously different features, and I had so much fun drawing her. In this case, I really wanted to observe the two images and make it clear to the viewer that I was drawing the same person, and I wanted to really challenge myself to make sure I was able to copy the same kind of facial features and I guess aura of what this person looks like, if that makes sense. And honestly, I think I kind of failed in that aspect. I think you can definitely tell it's the same person I'm trying to draw, but I think that's more because of the coloring and the clothing rather than the actual facial features. And that might be because of the fact that she's smiling in one picture and not the other, or it may just be me failing at drawing the same person. Either way, I do like how the two images turned out. I'm really proud because this was one of my first times that I haven't really inked the sketch. Usually when I'm drawing portraits and I'm rendering them, I end up inking all the lines and I do line weight, line work, blah, 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 blah. And this time I didn't, and I had a lot of fun with it. The materials I'm using for the sketching are the Pilot Color Eno lead pencils in 0.7. They're similar to the Prismacolor Col-Erase pencils, which I also used interchangeably here. I personally just prefer the Pilot ones because you can get a bit more precise with the lead pencils. And also just, I hate sharpening because my pencils always break on me, and I'm sure you guys have this issue too. So I have the red colored pencil, the blue colored pencil, lighter blue colored lead, and I recently just bought the purple one in kind of an art haul. Let me know if you guys want to see that. And I interchangeably use the Col-Erase pencils when I wanted to shade a bit more. When I do ink, I tend to use the Pigma Micron pens, usually in like 0.05 or 0.1, the smaller ones. And yeah, I burn through them quickly, but I like the ink and they don't smudge. And here I'm using my Copic markers, and you're going to see one of them bleed all over as I'm coloring this next section. And I think in real life, I swore really loudly when that happened. And it went directly to the face and was really bothering me. I ended up fixing it, but it wasn't perfect, and I'm still not happy with that little thing that happened. It was just such an annoying thing that happened. But hey, what can you do but work with it? So, as I just mentioned, I'm using my Copic markers in this. I got them pretty recently, and I was really excited to kind of test them out and experiment with them, especially when doing skin tones. I tend to struggle with capturing how lifelike the skin is. There's just so many colors and different facets to the skin, and I was really excited to experiment with my Copic markers to color the skin here. In addition to my Copic markers, I was also using the Fabercastell Polychromos pencil crayons, and I love these pencil crayons. I have tried the Prismacolor ones, and like I mentioned before, I hate it when my pencils snap on me as I'm sharpening them, and the Prismacolor ones break a lot. The lead is just so brittle, and you get wax buildup so quickly with them. I just could not deal with them. So I think around Christmas of 2016, I got the Faber-Castell ones, and they made a world of difference. They make drawing, coloring with pencil crayons so much more enjoyable for me, and there isn't really wax buildup because these are oil-based pencil crayons, and blending with them is also just so cool. Like, when I use my Copic markers with them and on top of them, they just blend so well, so seamlessly, and I enjoy them so much. So if you're considering trying pencil crayons other than Crayola, which nothing wrong with Crayola, served me very well for many years, I suggest trying out the Prismacolor pencils. You might like them, I know a lot of other people do, but I suggest trying out a small tin of both the Faber-Castell ones and the Prismacolor pencils, and then committing to a larger tin. I have the biggest one of the Faber-Castells, I think it's 120. You don't need that many pencil crayons, but I guess I like having my collection of art supplies, so I wanted the full set. If I remember specifically what colors I'm using, I tried to keep a little chart. It kind of went away as I got more into the drawing coloring process and I was enjoying the process more. But if I do remember some of the colors I'm using both for the pencil crayons and the Copics, I'll be sure to put them on screen. I know I'm using E00 a lot because that's just one of the only skin colors I have. I don't have a lot of skin colors in terms of Copics, and I'm kind of building up that collection slowly. You're also going to see me using the Prismacolor blender for the markers, and that's just because it was cheaper than the Copic one, and honestly, it's just rubbing alcohol in there, or whatever alcohol they use. It's just colorless. There was no big difference with it. I'm just using it to blend and desaturate some areas where colors are going a bit crazy. I was actually really enjoying this a lot. I was kind of hesitant to start. Usually the coloring process is where I screw up a lot. Sketching is really fun for me, and then the coloring process is nerve-wracking to me, but I end up enjoying it the further along I get into it. So in this case, I was really, really into it, and I was having a lot of fun. There weren't that many issues, and then I tackled the hair. So hair is another thing I struggle with. I feel like this entire video is just me saying, I have issues with this and this and this, but every artist has the stuff that they don't like about their art, and I just have a lot of things that I know I can improve on and I need to improve on. Hair is one of them. My hair, when I have to color it, is usually just like one tone, maybe two tones for shading, depending on how much hair there is. And this is more of a realistic drawing, semi-realistic, whatever, but it is more realistic because the skin has more colors to it. So that would mean I had to render the hair in the same manner with more than just two shades. And it was a new experience for me, but I actually had a lot of fun with it. Hair is just, I'm used to coloring in sections, I guess, and with hair, once I do that, it just looks too blocky, too structural, I guess. It doesn't look or flow as naturally as I want it to look, which is something I struggle with, but in this case, I felt like it did a pretty decent job. Blonde hair is also a struggle. I feel like darker hair is much easier to color because you can more clearly see the shadows, whereas with blonde hair, shadow and light does weird things to it, especially with dirty blonde hair. So there were just a lot of different colors that I had to use, and I had a lot of fun with it because of that. It was challenging and complicated and fun. So you can see like the mountain of Copic markers that is building up to my side. Yeah, it was kind of a mess all over my desk while I was working on these two. I did not expect these to take that long. I don't think I went in with the mindset of doing a super realistic drawing, or these aren't even super realistic, but they're more realistic than I usually have time to do. But I just enjoyed these and had a whole bunch of fun with them because of the fact that they were more realistic. And I'm someone who still doesn't really have a definite finite style that I follow. I experiment a lot with my stylization upon like whether I'm going to do it more realistically or more cartoonish or with more stereotypical anime features or stuff like that. And I just really like experimenting right now. I don't want to commit to one style right now. It's just not something I'm interested in. What I do want to do is work on character design more, which is again why I was kind of doing this exercise to try and make it so that the viewer can tell that I'm drawing the same person. And kind of my hope with making more videos is that I'll also feel this pressure to maybe get out of my comfort zone more. I know that when I started posting more regularly on Instagram, which if you want to follow, by the way, it's on the screen. But with Instagram, for example, the more I posted, the more pressure I kind of felt to make more art in order to post more, which was a good thing because drawing more is always good because that means you're practicing more. So I'm kind of hoping that similarly with YouTube, it will force me to both make more art and also get out of my comfort zone a little bit and experiment with different things. Getting back to the actual drawing right now though, I had a lot more difficulty with this coloring process than the previous one. As you can see right now, I'm actually busting out my watercolors to try and fix the shading I just did under the neck. For some reason, I could not remember the colors I had used previously, so I was using colors that were either too dark or too cool toned or too warm toned, and it was a mess. Let's be honest, it was a bit of a mess for a while. I think I did a pretty good job of fixing it later on, but there are definitely some differences and issues with consistency that I'm gonna have to work on in the future. But I'm still really happy with the outcome because I feel like I did a really good job, especially for one of my first times attempting to draw the same person twice and focusing a lot on making it look like that same person. This just taught me that, for example, I have to really keep a record of the colors I'm using, or at least a general idea of the colors I'm using, so I don't run into this issue again. In particular, I'm going to try to keep that in mind when I'm trying to do some character creation and experimenting with that, because like I mentioned, that's something I'm really not good at, and I just need to do more studies in order to try that out first. Also, I forgot to mention, if there are any skips in my coloring process, I apologize for that. The camera I use isn't really the best, and it kind of just stops recording at around 30 minutes, a little bit before, and I always forget about it, and I tend to not hear my alarm for some reason. So I'll record some sections without realizing that my camera has shut down, or sometimes I actually just forget to hit record. But yeah, oh, I almost forgot to mention, in terms of paper I'm just using a sketchbook from my kind of local Canadian art shop. It's called Curry's. The sketchbook itself isn't special or anything, it's pretty cheap. I got mine on sale for something like $5. It's usually like $6. Yeah, I just like it because of that. I'm not afraid to experiment or try different things in it. I'm not afraid to make mistakes or mess up. If I don't like a page, I just continue. I don't feel like I've wasted some amazing quality paper. If I want to use something like watercolors, I just paste in watercolor paper from something else. And it's just my preferred sketchbook because it's cheap and easy to use. Obviously, the coloring process of this portrait compared to the other are very similar, but I kept the speed the same just because I feel like there are still some differences, especially in how many errors I made with this one. However, the hair process and everything from this point onwards is pretty much the same, so I really sped up the hair process because, to be honest, I completely forgot that I hadn't added that footage in, timed this, and was ready to be done like now, and then realized, oh, she has no hair. So I sped that up so the video won't be as long and I won't have to re-record everything. And speaking of recording, I don't really have a schedule yet of when I'm going to record and upload. I'm kind of just experimenting with how long everything takes me to do first. But I want to aim for a video at least every 2 weeks, so bi-weekly, and then eventually get to a video once a week, and then we'll see from there. But school's starting soon. I'm going to 11th grade, and I have all 3 sciences in my first semester class. So we'll see if I have time for art. I'll always be drawing. The thing is, I just don't know the logistics of when I'll be able to record like this voiceover and post it. So I'm going to just be figuring that out. I also just don't have very many video ideas. Like, all I can really think to do are speed paints. So if you guys have anything you'd like to see or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments. Maybe that art haul I was talking about before, a sketchbook tour, or I don't even know, maybe fan art ideas. Anything you guys like to see, let me know in the comments down below. If you just so happen to like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you're interested in seeing more, please hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out my Instagram because I update that much more regularly than I will update YouTube. Thanks for checking me out, and goodbye!